Hey everybody, welcome to my studio. Before I get started, I really want to thank Sandra from Blossom and Inspire. She bought two of my journals and she showcased both of them on her channel. And I just want to give a big thank you to her. And I feel so honored and blessed that she did that. She did not have to do that. And it just really touched my heart. In fact, it made me cry. So there's that. But yeah, I really genuinely like this lady and I just wish all the best for her. Okay, so let's get started on what I have planned for today. Today I'm going to be playing around with glue. I know, glue. um, Glue is just this versatile thing that does these amazing things, and I feel like we don't utilize it enough in our projects. So here, I'll show you two of the things that I've made with it. Now, at first, these look really bad because I was in such a hurry to get these done today. But the rest of the stuff's gonna look nice, I promise. But let's start with this one. I just tried to put together a little card. It says hello. But and as you can see, these are all made from glue. They're very transparent dots. Let me see if I can hold them up like this. And they're raised. So there's my texture. And then they were colored with alcohol inks is how I got the color on them, but they are still transparent. And as I did a boo-boo, as I was embossing this, the heat gun, my heat gun actually reheated the glue, and then I accidentally flipped it over when I was dumping off the embossing powder, and it stuck to the paper, and so that's why they are so pointy now. So yeah, that was a boo-boo. So I gave up decorating on that one just because I had made such a mess with it. This one is just a thank you card that I created. Each one of these, even this little love thing right here, is made from glue. Each of these dots, the flower petals, which look to me like glass or plastic. I hope you guys can see that. And it has beautiful texture in there. It's all made from glue. Just glue. And then I use, and look, it's the same as the embossing powder. It's beautiful texture, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple different things that we used. You can make more than just these flower petals and these little dots and this little cutout right here. There's many things you can do with glue, and let me show you how. I'm going to put these off to the side. First, we're going to start with the types of glue. Okay, so I used Fabri-Tac. I used some collage medium. I used glossy accents, and I used my heat gun, which I have forgotten to turn on apparently. So I won't be using my heat gun today because it's not hot. But also just concentrate on these three. I've actually already prepared some with the glue gun, so you will see that. I just won't be putting them down today. So you'll need these glues. You don't have to have all glues. You can just have any glue that I found was working. It just, each one of them did a slightly different thing, and I will show you what that is at the end, how each one of these are different. So you can just use the Fabri-Tac, you can use your hot glue gun, any glue that dries clear or semi-clear, as in my glue gun, as you'll see, will work for this project. So yeah, all of this will work. So first we got our glue, so I'm just going to set them over here. Then I also used some alcohol ink to color them. I used mica powder that I have mixed up, and I've also used some paint, Metallico Meteorite Green and Metallico Old Gold. I've used both of those. So any of these will work for staining your things. Any paint will work. It doesn't have to be metallic paint. It could just be regular paint. It doesn't matter. I'm putting them up there like you guys can see them. Here they go. And put them here. Okay, and then the alcohol ink and the mica stain. The only one I'm going to demonstrate for you today is going to be the alcohol ink and the rose gold. The other thing was, let me get started. You will need some paintbrushes, some tools, and a spatula or tweezers in order to get it off of your paper. You will also need some parchment paper, or one of my favorite things was packaging tape, which I don't seem to have any laying around. But packaging tape works for this really, really well. In fact, it gave me the smoothest surface was packaging tape. So I really liked it. But yeah, I didn't get any out. So there's that. Okay, I'm just going to lay out the parchment paper. It doesn't matter how. I'm just going to lay it out. I'm going to use my paint to hold it in place. It got all wrinkled up while I was doing other things. Yeah. Okay, so whenever you use these, the reason why I have two is because if you use mica powder, the silicone and the mica powder do not mix. I don't know why, but when I tried to paint with the mica powder, it would just run right off my silicone brush and it wouldn't smooth it at all. So I had to get out this kind of a brush for the mica powder. I'm not going to be demonstrating the mica powder, so I'm just going to use my silicone. And then, of course, the spatula and the tweezers are very important. Otherwise, it's difficult to get them up. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is do some glue dots. And I will show you how to do those really fast. They don't take long, but they take long to dry unless you're using the heat gun. Guys, the heat gun is so fast at creating these. And I'll go ahead and tell you right now what the problem with the heat gun is. The heat gun, well, my heat gun, I should say, my glue sticks are cloudy. So when they dry a little bit cloudy. They're not as transparent as the glossy accents or the Fabri-Tac. The glossy accents is the clearest. The clarity is beautiful with glossy accents, which you wouldn't really think because it kind of, glossy accents has this yellow pigment to it. The Fabri-Tac is also very clear. And like I said, I'm going to go over the pluses and minuses of each. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some glossy accents real quick. So the way you do it to make the dots is you just put it down like that and lift. Put it down like that and lift. Just like that. Okay? And then the glossy accents does take a little bit to dry. It actually will dry faster than the Fabri-Tac because the Fabri-Tac remains sticky. Whereas when the glossy accents is fully dry, they're fully dry. They're no longer tacky. But the Fabri-Tac, I don't know if it's my humidity today or what, but it has remained tacky and kind of sticky and gunky all day. So the Fabri-Tac, I'll show you the glue dots for those real quick. Maybe I'll show you the glue dots. I've been using this all day. There we go. So you just make a little round thing. You see how it leaves strings? That's okay because whenever they've dried fully, you can cut them off with scissors. That's another really good thing about glue is you can cut it afterwards. It's wonderful. Okay, so these are the glue drops that I've made, and as you can already see, this one's more cloudy than that one, but it dries very, very clear. The other thing I wanted to make and show you how to make was the petals. So I will go ahead and do the petals. Now, these also, I'm not adding any alcohol ink right now. I'm just doing the clear ones. So let me just do a petal. Let's see. And this is more like a leaf. Well, kind of a petalish. Let me just start on the round side. There we go. Okay, I'll just do 2 of those. And again, they're just going to dry clear just like that. And I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. Okay, and then I'm just going to use the Fabri-Tac. Oops, it kind of got it in the glue dot. Kind of hard for me to see a little bit with the lighting. So, and then another one, just draw it out. That's what's another thing about this over the glue gun. These are so much easier to control than the glue gun. The glue gun remains thick, but with all of them, you can use your silicone brush and you can literally paint the glue into the shape that you want. You have a few minutes before it dries. just to do that. And the silicone, the glue just comes right off. Okay, so this is for the clear, okay? And this is where I would paint. I would let these dry. Well, I'm going to show you, but I'm going to let these dry, and then I'll take the alcohol ink or the mica stain or the paint and paint them. Now, let me show you what it would look like if I added. I'm just going to do a square. I'm not going to do a petal. I'm just going to do a square. I did the, in the other one, I did the petal. I'll show you when I'm done. Now I'm going to go ahead and quickly add the alcohol inks to it so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's see. Depending on how dark you want it as to how many drops you have, that will dry very, very translucent with all the swirls right there in it. Now this, I'm just doing the technique first, and then I'll show you guys all of the samples at the end that I've been playing with and all the ways that I plan on using these. Okay, now I want to show you real quick. I did just put down the Fabri-Tac, right? But I can take my brush real quick and I can smooth it to really get a thin skin on this. Yeah. Yep, just a really thin skin. And before that quickly dries, I'm going to add the and if you notice already a difference in the way that the alcohol ink is reacting to the two different glue types. With the glossy accents, it spread, and with the Fabri-Tac, it didn't, but you can just take your silicone brush and smooth it all around like that. Just like that. There we go. All right. Now, okay, so whenever those are dry, I also added the collage medium. I'll just go ahead and, if I can get it open, I'll show you. This is the most versatile because I was using my paintbrush right off the bat to make the different elements. So, whoops, that's kind of funky. Let's just paint something right here. Like this. There we go. Okay, and I'll do two. One that'll be clear and the other one will be. We'll go ahead and add the thing to it real quick so you can see how it reacts. This one was very interesting in how it reacts because it makes it milky. That one looks like it all separated, and so that's okay. Sometimes you get different results. It's almost like one of those you get what you get kind of things with this, because I've noticed that with the, you'll see in the samples, yeah, every time I would try to emulate what I just did, it would just, every time would be a different reaction. Okay, so all of these are drying, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you the other ones. These take so long to dry, so I've already laid out some of the ones that I've done earlier. So I'm just going to grab that real quick. Okay, so I'm back. Hopefully these are dry. I'm cautious that they aren't. I've labeled these ones. They're just, I did the exact same thing on this as I just demonstrated. And we'll start right away with this is the glue gun. And you can see, hopefully you can see the difference. Let me see. There, just hold it right there. So you can see the difference in the color. This came out a little bit yellow, and this is the glossy accents. This is the Fabri-Tac. See how clear that is? And then this is the glue gun, and you can see how cloudy it is. This also is the glossy accents, and I did this the same way. This one I added the alcohol ink while it was drying. This one has not had anything added to it yet, and you can see the pigment is a slightly different yellow tone. This one is the Fabri-Tac, And you can see this one has much more texture in it already. And I didn't do anything different than I did on these others, but it just comes out, the Fabri-Tac has more texture in them. And then again, this one I added as it was before it dried, and this one was dried, just clear. This is the glue gun, and adding it, the alcohol ink to it before it dries, it was a mess because that glue gun just really dries so fast. I mean the glue, not the glue gun. And it just really didn't take to the alcohol ink. So here's the petals after they've dried. I'm going to see, move this paper up a little bit. Here is where I added the collage medium. And you can see this one I added just like the other ones before it dried. And here I haven't added it. The reason why this one is rippled is because when I add the collage medium to the parchment paper wrinkles. If you was to use the packaging tape that I told you about, if you use just clear, or it doesn't matter if it's clear, I'll show you, this packaging tape or this packaging tape, it doesn't matter, either one, they do the exact same thing. And they hold it, I guess it's because it's sticky, it holds it flat, so as you're adding the glue, it doesn't wrinkle like that, like the paper. Now I don't mind that because I like texture, but if you want absolutely flat, then use packaging tape. Let's see what else we got. Okay, so I'm going to move that back down. All right, so let me show you with these why they're on the paper. I'm just going to add a little bit of the rose gold alcohol ink. And this should work. I'm just going to use my silicone paintbrush, and it pretty much does all of them. Like that. I'm just going to use the same color. If you want these clear, don't color them. They look like water droplets. They really do. Should have showed you one before I peeled it off there. But. Okay, so here's the Fabri-Tac one. Can you guys see? I'm not very good at showing you. There. You see the clarity of that? So yeah, they look like water droplets. And I've been playing around with these all week. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put the alcohol ink out. Use my brush. Now another way you can do these is add them to a baggie and put the ink down in the baggie and then just kind of shake them around a little bit. That's a good way to color these as well. I did do that with, it works better with the glue gun dots because they're more solid. They don't, but like the Fabri-Tac ones, they are still, even right now, they are still sticky. These are not sticky. These are still sticky. These are not sticky. So you could do the baggie easily with the glue gun ones, and you can do the baggie easily with the glossy accents. But there you go. One has some strings left in it. Yeah, and depending on the opacity of it as to how much of the alcohol ink you add, or the mica stain. I didn't demonstrate the mica stain, but this also works. Oh, this is a disaster in the making. Let me just tell you. Okay, if you use the packaging tape, which is what this is, and you use a glue gun, this is the mess you're going to get. And it's still sticky 2 days later. Okay, I had to show you. It's still sticky. I don't know. It's a mess. Yeah. Also, another tip, don't have anything here to show you, but another tip is don't use wax paper. It sticks. I don't know why I thought wax paper would be great for this, and it's not. It sticks bad. So I had to actually peel it off the bat. Oh, it took me hours to get that off. Anyway, okay, so let me color these ones so that you guys can see. Again, I could just put the alcohol ink on the paper, like right here, and I can, if I want it diluted, I just add a little bit of water and then just grab it and color it like this. So it depends on how much color you want, and you have complete control of that. And that's what I love about this. Glue is, I have absolutely control over how much ink and how much color and how much of everything, really. And it's so cheap to do this, because I bet you could do these with watercolors. I bet you could do it with acrylic paint. I did not try it with acrylic paint, but I bet you could. I'm just going to go ahead and quickly add these, add a drop to each one, and that way I can paint them really fast. I'll do these ones down here too. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna throw that on there. See how easy these are to paint too? And with the alcohol ink, it dries very fast. If you were doing paint, it's going to take a little bit. So this project can either be really fast, like using a glue gun with the alcohol inks is very fast for color, or it can be very slow, such as the Fabri-Tac drying time with paint. Okay, yeah, these look awesome. I'm really happy with the color saturation of all of them. I wanted to show you a little bit more on this one, so I'm going to add a little bit more so that you can see that why I was not happy with that, because they should have had, these should have been more solid like that, and they weren't. Okay, so these are all the same. All right, and then all you do, this just wipes right off because it's silicone, so don't have to worry about that. These just peel right up. Let me see if I can make a, see? Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful skin. And of course, I pulled up the Fabri-Tac, the sticky one. But you can take your scissors and trim off all these little strings that came with it. But look how easy that is just to stick down on your paper. See, that's a little more solid because it is the glossy accents. So that's a little, let me see if I can show you the, and this one is the thinnest, as you can see. Well, it's not the thinnest actually. The collage medium is the thinnest. This one is the hot glue gun, and you can see, hopefully you can see maybe if I turn them over, you'll be able to see how cloudy one is compared to another here. There. Or maybe I should put them on something so that you can see through them. I'll use my card that's kind of a disaster, and I'll just use this side. Okay, so you can see how you can see right through. You can kind of see the opacity of everything. Come up here so I can show you. Works better on the white. There we go. And then also, I'm gonna grab one of the, let's see which ones. Okay, now I did kind of blunder because the glossy accent one I grabbed, I didn't grab from up top. So there we go. There. Now all three of them should be the same. You can see those are all the ones that were colored before, as they dried, I mean. Okay, so those are all three of those. Hopefully you guys can see those well. Maybe if I put them on the black, maybe if I put them out here on the black, you guys can see them even better. I don't know. Don't know what works better here. Okay, so then I'll show you the ones that I just colored. Peel right up. And peel right up. Okay. And these are the ones, and I'll just put them with their counterparts. Okay, sticky. Now I like each one of these for a different reason. Each one I think will give a different look and texture to your projects. And let me just see if I can't get, these ones are the thinnest of them all. They are so thin. Okay, so there's that one. I'm going to put that up here. Still a little sticky. I'll try to zoom in on that on the video so you guys can see them. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see what those look like on there. And like I said, this card is made from dots, just like these. And see how easy these dots are to use. You can make them pearls. You can put them on the heads of brads. They are phenomenal for a lot of different things. They add all kinds of texture. Let's see the texture. I'll show you this one too. So even this, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is what I'm going to show you next. Okay, I'm going to pick up all my petals, make my flowers. Hopefully get everything back on there. Okay, I'm going to move this off to the side. Hopefully. Okay, hopefully it's not casting too big of a shadow. These are what I wanted to show you from my card. They're like seals. That's what I made. I made seals. I use a stamp. Okay, so I put the glue down. These are made from the hot glue, by the way. I didn't try it with the other glues. I just made these from the hot glue. You put the glue down, you put it into a circle, and then you take your stamp, and I put the embossing, the clear embossing on my stamp to make sure it didn't stick. And then I just stuck my stamp in here until the hot glue dried. And then I just peeled it right off my stamp. Now this one is colored with alcohol ink, and this one is painted with this metallic, that's not the right one. Well, no, it's over here. This metallic paint here. So yeah, I'm hoping to give you guys so many ideas. I'm inspired by this. This is crazy. I could use another week to play around with glue. I mean, they're phenomenal in how they are used. This is a bird. Let me see if I can just set them right there. Okay, I'll put those off to the side, and now I will show you the rest of the examples that I did. Okay, let me start with these two, so because I know these two. Okay, these were both made with the mica stain spray. This is the hot glue, and this one is the Fabri-Tac. And you can tell because the Fabri-Tac leaves this texture that the hot glue and the glossy accents and the collage medium don't leave. It always creates this like little bubbly texture in here. And I love both of these pieces for different reasons. This one to me looks like ice or snow or something melty and drippy. And if you think about ice cream, anything like that, and it's just beautiful. I can see how to use that in a lot of things. This one is more like a mermaidish tones and colors. The mica stain is very glittery. I don't know if I can show you. I was trying to think how to show you the translucency of it, but there. Hopefully you guys can see that. I did have an image. Let me grab the image. Okay, I'm going to try this image. It's one I've created so that you can see how you can still see his book right there. It's not really good for faces because it's kind of hard to see that it has face through it, but it's off to the side and you can see it. This is, like I said, the drippiness and the droopy. Oh, I can totally just now see that in one of the Halloween journals. Oh, it gives me so many ideas. Okay, so let me put that one off to the side and I will show you a couple more. All right. Now this is made from Fabri-Tac with alcohol ink, and I applied the alcohol ink before it dried. I just smoothed it around. This one is from the collage medium, and again, it's the same alcohol ink that I used on this one. And you can kind of see just the glue itself made a difference. Otherwise, I used the exact same technique. Put those up there, so hopefully you can see. And I don't know if you can see, but it's peeking out. Oh, and it looks kind of like a mirror. Both of this piece especially to me looks like a mirror. So and it's very fragile. The collage medium is the most fragile out of all of them, but I love the flakes. Oh, I can't wait to do something with those flakes. Okay, so I'm going to set these off to the side. Another one is this blue. Okay, so this was alcohol ink as well. Um, this was the hot glue, and you can see how cloudy it was. This is the one that got stuck on the wax paper. So some of this could be wax paper, but it's still cloudy. Just this one didn't get stuck, and it's cloudy too. This is the Fabri-Tac, and it is smoothed out. I smoothed it out with my silicone brush, so it's really thin, but it's not fragile like the collage medium. Like this is thin too, but it's not as fragile. This is bendy. So it's more durable once it is dried because this is no longer tacky. It really dried. And this was used with the same colors. This, I believe I used the alcohol ink after it dried. And this one was, no, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. I put the alcohol ink in this one before it dried. And this is, I applied it after it dried. Okay, put the blues up. Now I have this one. Oops, got stuck. This one was alcohol ink. No, this was mica powder. And it is very shimmery red. And this was done on the packaging tape. And see how smooth it is. It did come out a little bubbly, but that was my fault. But yeah, so this was done on the packaging tape, and it's just absolutely flat. And this was done with the glossy accents. So I'll put that one there. Let me show you two of the greens that I also did. These do not look the same at all. I don't think this is the same. Okay, wait a minute. This one is painted, the meteorite green. This was the hot glue gun. Okay, this was the hot glue gun. But I smoothed it out with this before it could dry. And I really smoothed really quickly because otherwise it dries so fast. And then once it dried, I applied the paint to it. It stuck, but it kind of peeled away in a couple spots, which is still cool. As you can see, if you put it on him, it's still neat, but see how it's cloudy. So it's not my favorite. The hot glue gun is not my favorite. But I can see how it could be useful for certain things, especially the drops. The drops are phenomenal with the hot glue gun. Okay, this piece was done with the collage medium, and I added the alcohol inks to it. And I believe I added the alcohol inks as it was before it dried on this one. And you can just see how, hopefully you guys can see, how you can still see through this one. And it gives such yummy texture. Look at that. I just love that. Okay, so we'll put that one off to the side. Hopefully you guys can see through these. All right, so then I have two more. Okay, this one, this was my experiment with mica powder. I did not know how much mica powder to add at first, and I added way too much because you cannot see through this at all. It's completely saturated. But it's very pretty. I love the color, and it's still flexible. This was Fabri-Tac that I smoothed out really thin, and then I added the mica powder as it was drying, and I just painted the mica powder into it. And I believe that I used like 2 scoops of mica powder, so it was way too much mica powder. Way too much. You'll have to experiment with how much to put down because my mica powder was 2 scoops and it was too much. Okay, so I have, oops. Okay, so this is collage medium. And again, you can see how fragile it is and it flakes. So if you're wanting something for a flaky project or for collaging with and nothing too bulky, collage medium is what you need to use because it's beautiful, but it's flaky. So you just have to be more careful with it, really. And then I have my yellows. And let me just show you. All right, so this is really thinned out Fabri-Tac. And I just smoothed it out, and then I added the alcohol inks. And this was done before the it dried. And as you can see with the pieces, if you add the alcohol inks before they dry with Fabri-Tac, you get a really brilliant color. Really brilliant. I love that. Okay, so this one was collage. No, I'm sorry. This is Glossy Accents, and I added the alcohol ink before it dried, so you can see again how rich and clear this is. This is one of my favorite pieces because of the clarity. See over his face? I just love that. I love that. Okay, this piece, whoops, looks like it's coming in two here, was Glossy Accents. But I think the problem was, and I'll show you in just a second. I should have waited for this one, but I'll show you in just a second. I added the alcohol inks, but then I decided it needed to be smoothed around. So I added a little bit of water. And I will show you in a minute what happens whenever you add water to Glossy Accents and alcohol ink. So I'll come back to that in just a second. Let me get to these last two to show you. Okay, so this one was the glue gun, and with the alcohol inks before it dried. So the alcohol inks is kind of like in there. It's some of them, like the ones on this one, you can almost feel the alcohol ink still on it. This one you cannot. It's definitely down inside there, and it's so pretty. And again, it's still clear, but it's not as clear as still kind of cloudy. This one was also done with the glue gun, and I smoothed it really, really thin. I still couldn't get the thinness of the Fabri-Tac or the collage medium though with the glue gun. It would only go so thin before it would completely dry. And then this one I added afterwards. I added the alcohol ink after it dried. So if you add it afterwards, you get more transparency. And if you add it before, you still get transparency, but it's a lot more saturated colors. In fact, layering these are beautiful. Okay, now I will show you what I just said about adding. If you put the glossy accents down, you add your alcohol ink, and then you spritz with water. This is what happens. You make sea glass. I love this. Okay, this came out. Let me just make some room here so I can show you really well. It just broke apart on the parchment paper, just shattered. And then I thought, okay, that's ruined. I'm just going to let it dry and then I'll clean up. But look at these pieces. They are gorgeous, are they not? I'm not sure if you can see this. Let me move these out of the way. Yeah. I mean, that sea glass is phenomenal. And now that one was mica powder. This one was alcohol ink, but they still are both very brilliant. And look at these pieces. Oh, they're just so, so pretty. And they are kind of fragile because, like I said, I don't know what happened when you add water. But this is what kind of happens. Oops, I put that one upside down. Which is still beautiful upside down even. I hope the light is catching these beautiful shards of glass. That's what they look like to me. That's why I thought this looked like sea glass. And I can totally see this in an ocean journal. Put this on a mermaid's tail. Make it look like it's creating water and depth. I mean, these pieces are just gorgeous. So I don't mind that they fractured. I really don't. I'm okay with it. I just wanted to say thank you for so many viewers tuning into my channel. I so appreciate each and every one of you who have taken the time to watch my videos and to leave me comments. I love talking to each and every one of you. And if you ask me questions, I will try to answer them as fully as I can. I really have enjoyed playing with glue. It's just been crazy, but I love it. So